This is a picture of me back in 2009, almost 14 years ago now, on my birthday, getting my first ever Nintendo DS. And as you can see, between the DS and I is a DS game, and that is going to be the topic of this video. But first, while we're all staring at this image, let's do a few things. First of all, look at that rug. Didn't we all have that rug back in the day? I don't know, probably. I think so. Yeah, sure. Also, I guess I'm not that old. This is my 4th birthday here. And what's weird to me is that I always consider myself a 2000s kid just because I was born in the 2000s. But when I really look back on stuff like this is probably when my earliest memories are from 2009. So I guess that kind of makes me a 2010s kid then. If I didn't really have a functioning brain until around that point, I guess. And also, the 2000s, that era of gaming, I think it's called the 6th generation, when, the Nintendo Wii, the Nintendo DS, whatever Xbox was doing at that time, like the 360 or something, whatever PlayStation was at, the 3rd one, I don't really care about them, but that era, I like to consider myself part of that too. But again, looking back, the Wii is from 2006. I'm just barely older than the Wii. And the DS is older than me, just by a little bit, but still it's older than me. So that's kind of weird for me to think about, considering the DS was essentially the first, at least handheld console I own. I believe we had a Wii even before this that I played before then, but this image is essentially showing the first console that I personally owned and the first game I personally owned, which is that game right there, which you've probably never seen before, but we'll get to that. As I was saying, it is weird to think that I guess I'm not really part of this generation. I guess I'd be more of the 3DS, Wii U era, the whole 2010s era, again, like I was saying earlier, but I never even had a Wii U. I did have a 3DS, but not a Wii U. I mean, no one did. Yes, that's all I really want to say, except you will notice that that's a Nintendo DS Lite, which is the revamped version of the DS, which was 2004, and the DS Lite was 2006, or maybe it was 5, but either way, I'm pretty sure I'm at least older than that one, so that's good to know. Now, let's talk about this game. That game right there is called My Farm Around the World. It released in, I believe, 2008 or 2009. Definitely not 2010, because as I said, this is from 2009. And that is the first game I ever got for the DS, and the first game I ever personally owned. As I said, my family had a Wii dating back prior to this, so we did have some games at that point. I believe Wii Sports was certainly one of them. But My Farm Around the World, it's definitely not one of the most popular things they've ever made for the DS. I mean, you've never heard of it. Chances are you've never heard of it. Maybe you have. I've looked up videos of it before on YouTube. I did not find much about it. There was some, they didn't have too many views, but still, it's a game, it's for the DS, and that's me with it there. I don't really have too many memories with it, honestly. I have 1 or 2, maybe. But I know I certainly didn't play it too much. And I didn't even ask for the game. I know I wanted a DS at the time, or maybe I did ask for the game. I don't know why I would have. I believe my parents just got it for me because they knew I liked animals back then, and it was about animals, so why not? But who was I to complain? I was a really little kid, so I was gonna take whatever it was. And I did go on to get many more DS games, so it didn't even matter in the end. But this game, after a few years, eventually, sometime in the past, some year, I guess. I guess that can mean any year. But, just some time in the past, after this, before now, I sold it to GameStop. And if you know anything about GameStop, that means I only got like 2 pennies for selling it. So, I don't know why I did that, but I did it anyway. I guess that slightly younger version of me didn't know the nostalgia that modern me would go on to have about the really young version of me and that game, even though I didn't even really like it. Because I do have a lot of nostalgia about it, because I can look back at this picture that I have and say, hey, that's the first DS game I had, and the first one I owned, even though I didn't like it. So, this is all obviously leading up to the fact that I decided to get the game again so I could have a little reunion with it. Because why not? I'm probably not gonna like it. Oh, and hint, hint, it's I already played it for a little bit. Yeah, I forgot to make this video before I started it, so oops. Anyway, from this point on the video, this is essentially the first part, me as this little character giving an introduction. Now I'm going to move on to a part with actually me on camera. Then I'll move on to some gameplay, but honestly, me playing the game is not the main aspect of this video. It's more just me giving the background just now and telling that story really quickly. Then also me in front of the camera just talking about the game and having a little reunion with it 14 years later, or 13 and a couple months later. So yeah, here we go. Well, here I am. You're gonna be notice I'm pulling a little bit of a dream face reveal here. I'm gonna be staring that way the entire time, or at least my face is gonna be going in this direction because I have a light there but not there, so if I look straight on, half my face gets dark and I look 10 years older than I am, so I'm gonna be looking this way, kind of. Also, don't mind the background. This is the first time I've had my face in a video in like half a year, so yeah, it's different. Anyway, this is my farm around the world. The greatest thing ever produced. I don't, it's not. This, as you, it's upside down. This, as you saw earlier, in a couple seconds ago, is me 13 and a half years ago with the same exact thing. You can't even see it here. Look, let's get a comparison. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? Look at this kid and look at me. It's the same person. It's the same game too. And yeah, that's pretty cool. So I do want to mention, I don't mind that. I'm just gonna cover that. So that DS Lite, it's gone. I broke it. I forget how. I broke like 2 DS's. 2 different DS's, not 2 DS's. And then I have another DS now, but it is, the touchscreen doesn't work, and this game needs touchscreen, so we're not doing that. So I'm going to be doing this on a 3DS, actually, for the little gameplay I include, because I'm going to include some, because why not? I mean, there's not really much else as far as gameplay goes of this on YouTube, so why not, I guess. Yeah, so let's just take a look. You know, I'm sure I've heard people call the DS nostalgia. I mean, I've called the DS nostalgic, but I've heard people say that the DS is retro now, which is scary. I mean, if you don't know, it turns 20 years old next year, which is weird. That's very weird. So we got the back. Of course, anything I try and show the cameras backwards because I'm using front-facing camera so I can make sure I don't look like too much of a clown. See, I'm fixing my hair here. But yeah, I mean, you got the back. You got the official Nintendo seal. Also, I want to point out this game was like $6 complete. Like case, manual, cartridge, everything. I hope it's not fake. Probably not. I mean, no one really knows what this is, so it's probably real because it was that cheap. Or not because it was that cheap, but you get the point. Anyway, let's read some stuff off because I can't really give a good enough description of the game myself without just reading the description off the back. So, rise and shine. It's time to take care of over 20 different animals. Wow. Including hippos, monkeys, cows, kangaroos, and crocodiles on your very own farms around the world. There's always something to do. Buy or sell animals at the farmer's market to expand and grow your farm. Share the fun. Send your customized animals to your friends wirelessly. I don't know why you would do that. And you get to start in America, travel to Africa, then Asia, and finally, you guessed it, Australia, I guess. Uh, yeah, it's by THQ because I guess they just make all those really obscure things that are, I don't know. Does THQ still exist? Maybe. Also, here's a throwback here. This is when Nintendo actually cared. You don't just get a DS game slot. You get a Game Boy Advance game slot too. Or I think that's what that is. With the 3DS, you only got a 3DS game slot. And with the Switch, you only get a Switch game slot. But this was cool. Also, look at all these booklets. This was like prime game packaging. Now you just get nothing in a Switch game. Here's the little manual, because, you know, manuals were awesome, and now they don't exist anymore, unfortunately. Especially when they had color in them. You know, obviously these pages are stupid, and we don't care about that. I'll actually be pretty surprised if there's color. Okay, there's not in this one, but the title page is at least colored. There are some DS manuals, like the Super Mario 64 one, that are just beautiful. You don't even read it, you just look at it, and it's cool. They actually put effort into something. I was gonna read through this entire booklet, but that's not really fun now, is it? I don't think so. Just kind of tells you about the game, obviously. Then you get this little THQ advertisement. PlayTHQ.com. Were they like a Flash website too? I didn't realize that. I can't really tell what I'm looking at here. If you know what any of those things are, that's cool. I feel like I've seen that one right there before. Maybe I have. Are these Flash games? What is THQ? Some like elusive entity right here. Oh, check it out on a computer near you. That's very interesting wording there. Near you. You have to find a computer. You can't use your own one. Big names, great games. Well, I don't know what any of those are, so apparently not. Yeah. Also, let me fact check myself here before I move on to the next segment of this. This game was made in 2008? That doesn't make sense, though. I'm kind of confused. The game says 2008 on the back, but the manual said 2009. I guess I copyrighted it in 2008 and did something in 2009 and put it out, maybe? Made the manual, just like didn't have a manual first and then they made one? I don't know. Also, let's get another look at this beautiful cover, which tells you that you can care for 20 animals, because you can. We got a zebra, a monkey, bird, kangaroo, hippo, tiger, cow, pig. Wow, that's great. I kind of hate the art style looking back at this, except at the same time, since it was the first game I ever had on the DS, it's kind of nostalgic at the same time. But yeah, as I said, I already did start a new file, unfortunately, so it's not going to be a fresh reaction or a fresh reunion, honestly. Kind of happy I didn't record myself playing it for the first time again, only because I wasn't like, I just kind of stared like, oh, yeah, I remember this. Yep. Still pretty boring, unfortunately, but at least I have it again. It's cool to have. So, in case you're wondering what the game actually plays like, I am now just gonna play it. I don't know how people screen record 3DSs, so it's not gonna be high quality, but for the trade-off, you get to see my hands touching the buttons, performing the inputs to play the game. I don't know if that's helpful, but yeah. I'm just gonna cut to a little bit of gameplay, and commentary, because why not? Oh my god. Wow, that's 9 minutes already. I'm recording on a phone, by the way. I don't have a good camera. But yeah, let's move on, and I'm going to try and keep that spot a little shorter because that wasn't really the main idea of this video. Alright, here we are. If you could see my setup right now, you'd be pretty weirded out. I have my phone inside a plastic cup on its side so that I can prop it up, because I have no other way to prop it up without using my hand. Anyway, I'm gonna turn the volume up now so we can hear this great music. Okay, maybe I won't turn it up, but... oh, look at that. We have a little creature walking on the screen. Oh, he's looking at us now. Okay, bye. So as you can see, I did already start a file, so we're just gonna open it, obviously. And, yeah, as you can see, this is what the game is. And as far as I can tell, because honestly, looking back, I never even played too much of it when I originally had it. I probably put more time in already in just one day of having it again than I did in my entire time having it in the past. And by more time, I mean I literally spent less than an hour on it since I got it again. And I can know for a fact I did not spend that much time back in the day. So essentially, you have the top screen, you have some animals walking around. Sorry, is this too loud? I'll turn it down a bit. In the farm, and on this bottom screen is just the whole menu and everything. In the farm, yeah, okay, the button's not, oh no, there it is. You got chickens, ducks, turkeys, pigs, sheeps, cows. They look kind of ugly, but the birds look kind of cool. That was kind of my favorite thing about the game back in the day. My real favorite thing about the game back in the day was this, though. When you pick an animal to buy it, you can change. My little rust bucket of a setup just collapsed. Anyway, if you didn't see that, my touchscreen was being kind of garbage, as it is again. You can change the color of animals, picking between a whopping 2 different colors per animal, which is absolutely insane. You also get to name them, except you don't actually get to name them. There's only a set number of names. You can't actually name it yourself. You just pick one of these. What is going on with this touchscreen? Yeah, and they're all kind of the stupidest names possible, so you're limited to that. This touchscreen is horrendous. So in this little menu here, you get to feed animals if they're hungry. You know, you drag some food and then they get fed. And then you got, oh yeah, this guy's golden food. And then also, when you feed them, they get dirty and you have to clean them. And then you gotta clean this guy too, because he's dirty. Then essentially, literally the only thing you do, I think I technically already beat the game, or I guess you would call it beating it. Essentially, you can buy food, or you have to buy food to feed the animals, and you can also buy medicine if they get sick, which they do sometimes. And all these little structures you see around here, like that little pen, that thing on the fence there, and that little shed, you have to buy all them, but I bought all them already, and it did not take very much time, because essentially, you either, you can buy turkeys and ducks here, and with them, you just feed them until they get big, and then you sell them for profit. Chickens, you just buy them, and then you sell their eggs every time they lay them, and then these guys, I literally don't know what you do, because I bought one, and then he, got mad at me, so I had to just sell him for being an idiot. Then also, every time you feed them, they obviously, you gotta clean up after them, because they're dirty little creatures, I guess. You can see here I have 2 eggs, and if I go here, I can sell said eggs for barely any money. But the reason I was saying I think I already beat the game is because I literally don't know what you do by this point, other than just some kind of Animal Crossing-esque do whatever you want, just play, even though you already did everything you can do. Because I literally can't do anything. I mean, I could buy more animals and just watch them walk around, but I bought all of the farm things, as you can see here. When I go to sell, you have all these little pieces. I don't know why I would sell them. I did everything I can. But that's, I guess, where the other farms come in, because you can also start a farm based in Australia, Africa. I forget what the other one is, because this is the American one that they force you to start with. Yeah, I don't know what I'm even showing off here, because that's pretty much the entire game. You just get some chickens. You can increase the rate at which the game progresses here. And, they lay eggs quicker and stuff. Then you just sell it, and you buy this stuff so that you can hold more animals. And then from there, I guess you just start another farm and do it all over again. So, even though this was the first game I had, and it's very sentimental to me, it's pretty much that. It's not much else than just being a little sentimental thing, and that's kind of why I got it again. I just wanted to have it again, not to actually play it, because it's not something you can just avidly play and enjoy for hours on end. You just sit there and you're like, okay, yeah, I guess that's it. And that kind of is it. There's really not much else to do. They added this little feature where you can trade to people, as I mentioned earlier, but like, it's it's just a gimmick. They were like, oh, the DS supports Wi-Fi or wireless connection. Let's throw in some useless thing with it. Well, I was gonna wrap that part up, but then the camera fell over again, so oh well, I didn't have much else to say anyway. That is pretty much the end of the video, too. I started with what I'm doing right now, then I went on to the camera of me, then to the game. Now we're back here to this little character part. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. That's my world, or my farm around the world for the Nintendo DS, and that is me revisiting it over 13 years later, almost 14 years later, because it was the first game I ever had for the DS, and I decided to get it again to experience it again, and just to have it, because it is sentimental. If you watch this, thanks for watching it. Consider liking, subscribing, whatever. I don't really know. I hope this little weird, goofy reunion I had with this game was interesting, maybe. And as I said, thanks for watching.